Those of you who have attended one of our webinars before or any other GoToWebinar, you'll know that your phones are automatically on mute, so we can't hear you. If you would like to ask a question, there is a question doc, should be up on your screen, and there's a question tab that's open for you, and you just open up that box, type in a question. Since I'll be moderating the presentation, if I feel it's an opportune time for your question to be answered, I will break into Georgie or Michelle, whoever is speaking, and ask that question. Or I may choose to wait for a more opportune time, perhaps even towards the end of the webinar when we'll do our question and answers. Further, we're going to be taking a quick poll in a couple of minutes, so I'm going to be asking for your participation at that time. So that'll happen in a couple of minutes. Just a couple of announcements. I know most of you joining us today are registered pros with Capital Lighting and 1-800-Lighting.com. So if you live in New Jersey, I hope you'll be joining us for our 88th birthday bash, which we're having in our East Hanover location. We'll be converting our showroom into a 1920s speakeasy to celebrate our founding in 1924. We'll have great food and, of course, drinks to help facilitate a terrific networking event for our pro community. We'll also be starting it at 4:30 to 5:30 with an AIA accredited CEU course. The main event is from 5:30 to 8:30. Details of this, along with all the presentation materials that you'll see today, will be emailed to you shortly after the presentation, either later today or tomorrow. And lastly, before we get started, our relationship with our pro community is a two-way street. Capital's stated mission is to be part of a team to help make the world a brighter place. So we strive every day to add value to our pro community and deliver you relevant content and bring you to our showrooms and our websites that are second to none. So I invite you to please share with me or any member of my team your thoughts or experiences with us. We always love to hear where we exceeded your expectations or even perhaps where we fell short. We never stop learning or trying to improve our business, as I'm sure you don't either. And with that commitment to learning, let's get started with the webinar. I'd like to introduce Georgianne Brown, and she's co-founder and managing partner for Big Couch Media Group, which is a South Florida-based strategic consulting and full-service agency. Georgianne has over 20 years of experience in digital strategy and marketing and was an early adopter and evangelist in social media. She's been a great help to me and our team here at Capital Lighting for the past 2 years, and I'm sure you'll find her to be a great help to you too. So with that intro, Georgie, take it away. Georgie? Does anybody hear Georgie?
Sorry.
Okay, there you are.
Thank you, Eric. Some technical difficulties.
Got me a little nervous there, Georgie, after such a fine introduction. Thought you.
I know. I was getting all stirred up there. But thank you, Eric. And good morning, everybody. I am so thrilled to be with all of you this morning to share how Pinterest can drive new business to you, and more importantly, we really want to help you get started. I'm also pleased to be joined this morning by another Big Couch colleague and a social media diva, Michelle Carroll.
Hello, everyone.
So
good morning, Michelle.
Today we're going to help answer the following questions. What is Pinterest? Who's on it? Why should you care about it? Why is it important? And we're going to help you get started. And then we're going to share a special case study with you. And of course, we're going to leave time for some questions and answers. But first, we would really like to thank our sponsor and partner, Fanimation, for supporting this webinar. The team from Fanimation actually walks the social media talk. They have truly been early adopters of using social media as part of their overall marketing, including Pinterest. So thank you so much, Fanimation. We love you guys.
We do.
So before we get started, as Eric mentioned, let's take a quick poll. So Eric, take it away. So we wanted to ask all of you a couple of questions.
Sorry. See, I had a technical difficulty too.
You did.
I did. So we do want to get a sense of your level of engagement and understanding of Pinterest. So I'm going to ask you a quick couple of questions. And the first one is, are you currently using Pinterest? So if you could please just check either yes or no on your screen. Georgie, you can't vote. You are a panelist. So I'm sorry.
I'm
give
on
everybody
Pinterest.
But you can't vote, so it's not good. Let's see, close, and I am going to. Oh, very interesting. We have 52% of our viewers are not using Pinterest. 48 yes. Okay, and our second question is, let's see. Go to the next question, is going to be, for those who did answer yes, that you do use Pinterest, do you use Pinterest for business? Or is it just for personal? If you use just for personal, the answer would be no. If you have started to use it for your business or have some business-related pins or boards on your site, please answer yes. Okay. I'll give you another few seconds here for yes or no, and the polling is closed. So I'll share with you the results there. Okay, interesting. For those of you who do use Pinterest, which was about half the group, 2/3 of them, Georgie, 67%, do use Pinterest for business. So currently we have about half the group is not on Pinterest, and the other half who is on Pinterest, 2/3 of them do use it for business. So some early adopters with us today, but I'm sure everybody's got something to learn. So interesting 2 questions. Thank you very much. I'm going to give it right back to you, Georgie.
Well, that's great. Those are actually really great statistics. And pretty much we see about a 50-50, so you're not alone. And so even if you're not using Pinterest, I know you've heard about it. And for those of you that are using it, some interesting statistics. There's 11 million users and 1.5 million visits daily. Pinterest is the fastest growing social media site in history. It is now the 3rd most popular social networking site behind Facebook and LinkedIn. It's really incredible. Many Pinterest users are new as the site is, as you see from this chart, experiencing explosive growth. It's 400% month-over-month growth. And for those of us in the digital space, it's just really astounding. People ask our team every day, is Pinterest good for my business? In other words, should businesses jump on board? Today we're going to review these topics and help you navigate your way around Pinterest so you can start leveraging this powerful social media network to drive traffic to your business. So what is Pinterest? Pinterest is a visually focused social network, and the key term here is visual, that allows users to organize and share images and videos from all over the web. Images uploaded by users are called pins. They're not called images, and may be organized into pin boards or boards, which may be customized and themed and followed by anybody. So obviously, we're introducing some new lingo for everybody today. Who is on Pinterest? So let's talk about that a little bit. Pinterest users are an extremely powerful demographic. 80% of them are women, and 50% of them are over 35 years old. They're highly educated, with over 60% earning a college degree. 50% of Pinterest users have children, and 57% of users have household incomes over $50,000 per year. So again, very, very powerful. Pinterest users have tremendous buying power, only second to those on LinkedIn, which of course is more B2B versus B2C. according to a recent ComScore study, Pinterest buyers buy more, spend more, and conduct more transactions than any other social media shoppers. This audience truly represents a real revenue opportunity for all of you listening today. So why is Pinterest important for you? First, and important for the design community, which I know a number of you are in the design community, interior design ranks number 4 as a top Pinterest interest. And of course that rhymes. So you truly have a great opportunity to become an authoritative leader in your specialty or niche. Pinterest is driving real traffic and real business. Recent data reports that Pinterest is fast becoming a major traffic source, now number 4 in terms of percentage of referring traffic to company websites or blogs, where people are originating from to get to your website or your blog. At Big Couch, we are absolutely seeing the same trend among our clients, including capital lighting. We get real traffic and real transactions that originate from Pinterest. The next is anyone can follow anyone. You have the whole world. Users of Pinterest are searching out others with common interests. So and what's different about Pinterest, there's no need for friending or inviting. You just have to appeal to users based on common interests. The vast majority of major home decor brands now have a presence and are actively using Pinterest, such as The Perfect Palette, Martha Stewart, Better Homes and Gardens, with literally tens or in some cases hundreds of thousands of followers. And more importantly, specific to our industry, many of the nation's top designers are now actively on Pinterest. So, how does it work? The basic premise of Pinterest is allows users to connect to people all over the world through common interests and shared tastes. So let's get started. Some of you may remember at the beginning, Pinterest required a special invitation, which was very frustrating to me because I wasn't invited at the beginning, and I'm a social media evangelist. That's no longer the case. I mean, I wasn't invited to the party. I begged. I truly begged. But that's no longer the case. It's now open for anybody to join. You only need to sign up with your email, or you can also connect through your Facebook or Twitter account. So here's a quick run through. We're just going to go through the basics quickly of getting started. So creating your account is easy. You're going to pick a username, and you simply enter the rest of the required information, as well as you'll want to upload a photo, or if this is going to be your business page, you probably want to have your logo up there.
Georgie, let me ask, is there any best practices as far as username? I mean, if it's personal, should you just use your name? Or should you use a nickname, or is there anything that one should follow?
Well, from a business perspective, if I'm setting up my business page, my username would be my business.
Business. Great.
If it's more of a personal page, the approach that we always recommend is, because there's several social networks, you want to sort of use the same username you have across all social networks. So that's why a lot of times you're just going to, if you're personally signing up, you're just going to say, connect with my Facebook, and you kind of end up with that.
The same. So consistency is important. So
yeah.
if you already have a Facebook and now you're just signing up for Pinterest, perhaps definitely utilize the Facebook sign up so that it's consistent. Good. Thanks.
Okay. So next is they're going to ask you to verify your email. So once you've signed up, you'll receive an email almost immediately to verify your email address. You click the verify email, and then when you get to that screen, you just click that little button. Next is personalizing. As I mentioned earlier, Pinterest is all about shared interests. So when you complete the initial sign-up process, you're then going to be prompted by Pinterest. I almost thought this was like a Dr. Freud kind of a thing, with a few pictures, so they can help better personalize your experience. They're going to ask you to select 5, and once you've selected those 5, you click Continue. The next is your account settings. So you want to customize your account settings. So you simply click on your name in the upper right-hand corner to modify any of your settings. This includes, excuse me, email passwords, your description. So this is where, if this is your business page, you would say, Big Couch Media, a South Florida-based full-service digital agency, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then this is also where you can connect your Facebook and your Twitter, and this allows you to automatically post from your Pinterest to your other social media channels. This is a great way to build followers. So now that we have our account set up, we're now going to create boards. Again, our new term, new lingo for today. So you're just going to click on the Add button in that top navigation. You'll then click through to the screen to create a board. So this little pop-up will come up, and you're going to click on Create a Board and give your board a name, something descriptive. And then you're also going to select a category and then click Create Board. Once created, you then click on Edit to give your board a detailed description. This is where you want to include keywords and terms so that other users on Pinterest, the world, will find you. So again, just reiterating, Pinterest is about common interests. And you would also probably want to include a link to your website or your blog here. So once your board is created, you can now start adding pins. Those are images. We don't call them pictures. We don't call them images. We call them pins. So pins are part of boards. So first, adding a pin, when you're on Pinterest, there's a few different ways to add pins. So you're on Pinterest, you're just going to click the Add button in the top navigation, and then you're going to be directed to the Add screen where you can add pin, which is there's Add Pin and Upload a Pin. If you're adding a pin, you're just simply inserting a link from any web page. Secondly, if you have images, pictures on your computer, you can also upload a pin from your computer.
So if you have pictures of your own personal pictures, like that's on your computer, that's where you'd be uploading. If you were, you just designed a house and you wanted to show the pictures of the home and you had them in a folder on your desktop, you would continue to pin right from that space. Correct, Georgie?
Correct.
Uploading those images. Right.
Correct.
Okay.
So those would be, yes, uploading pictures from folders or files on your computer, and that was a good example.
And again, I think a lot of people, when they pin a picture of their own, they don't do that step that you had mentioned before about putting the description in there. They almost think it's done once they upload the image, sort of like when they upload an image to Facebook. It's kind of self-evident. But what I'm hearing from you is the key is, if you want to be found by people searching for things that you're interested in, it's almost more important putting in the description than it is the image. I mean, the image obviously has to be good, but if you want to really be found, all those descriptive words and text that you're going to put in those boxes is just as important.
And you want to make it engaging. You want to make it interesting for potential followers as well.
Right.
So the next way that you can create pins is adding the Pin It button. This is really my favorite, and I totally recommend that you install the Pin It button to your browser bookmarks. It's really easy. If you go to Pinterest and you go to the main navigation, the Pin It button, and it basically tells you how to install this. And this is going to give you the ability to pin images and content from anywhere you're browsing. So if you happen to be on a website, so an example that I use, I post a lot of recipes to my Pinterest. I don't actually cook the recipes, but it's aspirational. And so I'll be on various recipe sites and post those just automatically because I have that Pin It button on my browser. Just makes it really easy. The next way is several websites like Capital Lighting have the Pin It button on their product pages. So once I click on that Pinterest pin, a little pop-up comes up. And I can then create the description. And if you also notice here, it asks, see that little box here, if I want to share it on Twitter as well, because I have my Twitter account connected to my Pinterest. So once you create your pins, you need to make sure that your descriptions are engaging. Remember, you're trying to establish yourself. And I'm really thinking from a business perspective here, but you're really trying to establish yourself as a thought leader. And as we were discussing earlier, you have access to a large base of people who have common interests. We know a lot of people are interested in interior design. So for the folks, I just reiterate from the design community, if you're not doing this, just start today. Here's just a sample of a good board and some pins. So the board description is I have featured here, and then all these various pin descriptions. Okay, so now we've set up our account, we've created boards, we've added engaging images and descriptions. Now we need to build followers. So the first thing is make a commitment to update your Pinterest often. Maybe new projects you completed, new design trends, or quite honestly, just stuff you love. Pinterest is a very personal social network. Have fun and make it engaging. The next is create contests. I'm sure you've seen a few Pinterest contests. This is a great, fun, and easy way to help build your follower base. Here's an example of a very successful contest we just completed with our great friends and our webinar sponsor, Fanimation. The next, integrate Pinterest on your website or blog. This is a great way to build engagement. Link to your Pinterest page to encourage your website followers to follow you, as well as enable them the ability to share specific products or content from your site. So here is an example of Fanimation's page. So it's pretty easy to do that. So Pinterest provides some very simple instructions for you to actually do that. So either you or your web developer, it's pretty simple.
Georgie, let me ask, Mary Kay has asked a question similar to a question that we got on Facebook. Do you recommend, if a designer has, say she's working for herself, she doesn't have a company, but she's the company, should she establish a Pinterest for herself and a separate one for her company, or just have one and concentrate her efforts on one?
Well, so my recommendation there is if you have, so for instance, I'll just give you an example. For us, I have a separate Big Couch Pinterest, and then I have Georgie's Pinterest, which is more personal. So on my personal, I'm talking about, remember, the recipes that I don't make, as well as golf, which I don't play very well. Versus my business Pinterest is more focused on sharing infographics and social media articles and that sort of thing. But I guess from a getting started, and especially given how powerful Pinterest is in the design community, I'd say do your personal stuff on Facebook and do your business stuff on Pinterest, at least to get started. I would just definitely take advantage of that. I mean, given we're all time deprived. But in Nirvana is you do all of it. And, you know, from a personal perspective, and one of the statistics we didn't really talk about, and maybe some of you have read this, Pinterest is very addicting. It's like a time suck. People on Pinterest spend 2 or 3 times more time on Pinterest than they do on other social networks. It's truly addicting. So from a personal perspective, if you want to get engaged with it, but I'd say just, again, from an interior design, just because it's such low-hanging fruit, I would say focus on that first.
Okay, great. Thanks.
The next is posting on your other social networks. Make sure you share your Pinterest link with your fans and followers on your other social media channels like Facebook and Twitter. So here's an example of the Waldorf Astoria who leveraged their Facebook. And then when we were talking earlier, you can also set in your account settings, you can say anytime you post on Pinterest, it'll automatically post on your Facebook as well. And then the other thing that you should consider is sending out an email to your database asking them to follow you on Pinterest. Next, consider adding board contributors. And board contributors is somebody that you allow to post new content on a particular board. So this is for a colleague or an employee because, as I mentioned earlier, having content updates is really important. And it's really easy to set up. You just click Edit of the board. You then select Me and Contributors. And you start typing in the person's name. So if I was trying to share with Eric, I'd start typing in Eric. The key, something important to note here, you have to be following that person on Pinterest in order to make them a contributor. So you have to be connected.
Now, does that board show up on their Pinterest as well once they become a contributor? Okay.
Yes. And here's something important. There is always help. Pinterest has a very robust help section. It's written in plain English. It's very easy to find all your answers there as well.
And we did have somebody ask a question about adding the Pin It button to their website. Is that kind of level of detail on here as well? And I know there's some good videos on YouTube and such that probably would go through the steps necessary, but that's probably right here in the help section as well.
It's correct. That would be
Okay.
in
Under
the
the
help.
Goodies tab. It's right under the Goodies tab in the help section. You go there and it has all the code.
All right, Burn Century, you see that goodies section on the left-hand side of that screen on the About right there. Click on that, and that'll have the instructions on how to add that add the Pin It button to your website. Okay.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so next is our designer makeover. We're really excited to feature Debbie Richardson. She is a great friend to Capital. I love Debbie. She's been in business in South Florida for over 25 years. And Debbie truly embraces learning about the digital tools to build her business. So I was really excited when Eric told me that she was going to be our makeover. Our strategy was our team worked very closely with Debbie to create boards that visually represented her suite of services, as well as focusing in on specific areas that she was really wanted to feature, such as her new and expanding online product offering. So the result was we have a great start for a very robust presence for Richardson Design on Pinterest. We have 14 boards and 165 pins. We also worked with Debbie's web developer to start to integrate Pinterest on her website. Giving her customers and other visitors to her website the ability to link to her Pinterest. So, So this little button here links to her Pinterest page. And then this little button, this is the Pin It button. So if I'm visiting Debbie's website and I love this bedding, which I do happen to really love that bedding, Debbie, can I have it? I think she's listening. Or can I get a friends and family deal? But this would give me the ability to put that on my Pinterest page. So I would be pinning that to my Pinterest page. So the next steps for Debbie is for her to really start working on building her follower base and implementing some of the strategies and tactics we talked about today. So why should you join Pinterest? Remember, it's visually oriented social platform. Secondly, anyone can follow you in the world. They don't have to be invited. They can find you based on common interests. It's a very powerful demographic. Interior design ranks right up there, number 4, remember. And it's a real business opportunity. Pinterest is driving real traffic and real transactions, dollars, to businesses. And lastly, I just can't reiterate this enough, it's really fun.
That is also important. Is that up on your wall, Georgie? That's what you have on the door, so people don't bother you.
What, happy pinning? Leave me alone.
Don't bother. I'm pinning.
I'm pinning about things that I'm never going to do, like cooking. I'm kidding. So, questions?
And just somebody did ask a follow-up question on again the two, whether you should have a Pinterest for business or for personal. And like I agree with you, if you're going to if you're starting out, have it for business. But is there anything wrong with having it for business but still putting some personal touches in there? I mean, you want them to know you as a person, especially if you're a 1 or 2 person shop and not part of a large agency. Is it wrong to have some other other funny things or things that you found interesting or wanted to share, whether they're about pets or trips or other things? Should you really keep them separate, or is it okay to mix and mingle your interior design business with some personal stuff? What do you feel about that? You think separation is best?
Michelle, you want to comment on that?
Yes, no, in terms of that question, Eric, it's important when building your personal brand or your business brand, if in the case of in the case of interior designers, where they could have boards such as products that I love, or inspiration ideas, or if they wanted to share any personal hobbies, obviously we need to keep it vanilla and nothing that would be offensive. That would be my recommendation. So it's important to think of the themes that you want your brand to represent. In terms of yes, go ahead.
No political posts would be recommended, correct?
Right.
Anything that could potentially offend a client or a potential customer, we should steer away from those. But anything that could help to enhance your brand and give your brand a personality, that's certainly encouraged.
Great. We do have a question from a good friend of ours, Marcia Koch, asking if you want somebody to be a contributor, how do you contact them? And I think you did show that slide before about where it's to the right. It's on a board, right? It's on when you're setting up the board.
When you're after you set up the board, you would edit the board. I'm going to try to go back and find it real quick here.
And they get a notification through Pinterest saying, Georgia Ann Brown just made you a contributor, or requests you to be a contributor?
So it's under the account settings setup.
Wait, you went too fast. You just had it. Yep.
It's under the account settings, but one thing that's important, as Georgianne mentioned, is that you have to be connected with them through Pinterest in order to add them to your contributors. So you need to reach out to them, or follow them first, and then you can add somebody.
And again, to reiterate, you can follow anybody. So you follow anybody, they have to let you follow them. They can't say, you can't follow them. If people, you can make comments on people's posts, correct? On people's boards?
You can like things, and you can repin them. You can share them on your board in terms of commenting. Those are the most popular ways, repinning and sharing.
Okay, liking. Great. But for them to be a contributor, so if you have a business board and you have a couple of people that you work with, that's how it's right there, Marcia. That's how you do it. Okay, that's I don't see any other unanswered questions, because there were some other questions, but you did go over basically everything. Do you one thing was about specialties? Do you ever recommend somebody split up their Pinterests to be specific for a kind of interior design? Would you have if you had a contemporary bent, would you create just a contemporary Pinterest for yourself, or do you think it's good enough just to have contemporary boards within your Pinterest?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Definitely when you're creating your Pinterest, you'll have multiple boards. We recommend creating multiple boards. So if you wanted to have, a contemporary focus on several boards, you could do that. I don't know how to do a contemporary Pinterest. I'm not sure.
Okay, so just have it all under Pinterest.
I don't think you want to have separate Pinterest accounts for different specialties. That's where the boards come in. That gives you sort of that segmentation, for lack of a better term.
And as far as how it looks right when you go to Pinterest, can you arrange those boards? Arrange the look of the boards to have perhaps the ones you're focusing on up at the top as opposed to at the bottom?
So one thing you can do with arranging the boards is you could set a default cover for each board. So that means whichever image or pin you want to be the display on the boards, you can make that the main image. So that's one way to arrange your Pinterest your Pinterest page.
Okay, so you can change the cover of the board. Great.
Right.
And is there, Michael Brown just asked how he finds out how his business or industry ranks on Pinterest. You found out that the industry design is number 4. And you used that. Which company did you do your research with, Georgie?
We use several sources. That one actually, that one came from an infographic that was compiled. What industry are they curious about? And I could see if I could get that answer.
Pretty sure Michael's a designer, but he's in. Oh no, Michael's in real estate.
Okay. I'd have to get back to you on that. I don't have the I don't have the answer for real estate. We'd have to get back with them.
Michael, just shoot me an email. I'm going to be sending out that forward email. Just do me a favor and send me an email just to remind me to send you the information on where real estate falls on that. And again, Mark got a question: how Pinterest is going to actually drive revenue. For capital lighting, we've actually had sales driven by Pinterest, and we've only been on Pinterest, I think, about 6 months. And people are clicking products that we have to sell and coming to our website and buying them. And while it's not in the hundreds of sales, it's in the tens of sales. That's 10 more sales than we've ever gotten from say Facebook, which we also love as an engagement tool. But we are seeing people seeing things, and it does drive them right to our site. As far as coming to your site, if you don't have a website, we do see it as a revenue opportunity for people finding your pins, and they're going to be linked ideally to your Pinterest board, and there, just you see from Richardson Interiors right on this screen, you'll have a way to contact Richardson Interiors and say, hey, Debbie, I love what you do. Obviously, you're an expert in your field. I'd like to set up a meeting about becoming my designer for our project.
So in the event that you don't have a website for your business, well, the first thing is please call me, because
right.
the Internet's not going away. It's not a passing fad. You need a website. So that's just setting that aside. If you don't have it yet, because we're building it, you probably want to add your email to descriptions if that's going to be, you'd want to give people a way to contact you. So you'd want to give an email address or a phone number on within your Pinterest description. So maybe up here you'd say email us at info. But if you don't have a website, like I said, just give me a call.
And if you don't have a website and you don't plan to have one, just the first step would be put your email address on there, or a phone number, so people do have a way to contact you. But that's how it's going to drive revenue to you, is by having interesting boards that people see, because they're looking for ideas, and hopefully, is there any geo-targeting done in Pinterest? I don't believe so.
No.
But if they do type in, so possibly in the descriptive words, they'll put in Florida or South Florida somewhere, so that if they look for designer South Florida, you would possibly come up in their search. Okay.
So one of the other comments I just wanted to make, for those of you who are not on our Capital Lighting Pro Facebook page, you should definitely join that page. And we'll actually post just some Pinterest resources that might be helpful for you. This sort of further peeling back the onion as far as industry stats or other interesting facts about Pinterest. We'll post some of our sources.
Terrific.
On the Facebook page.
And like I said, we're going to be sending a follow-up email with the slide you saw today, along with the link to the recorded webinar, which we're going to put up on our YouTube channel as well as our internal gallery. And just a couple other mentions that as a registered pro with Capital Lighting and 1-800-LightingPro.com, you can also be filling out your Expert Finder directory, which is a free service that we provide that lets the tens of thousands of visitors to our site view your work, see your credentials, and engage with you to help them build their projects similar to a Pinterest outreach program. Anything else, Georgie, to share with or Michelle?
I don't think so. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
And lastly, I do hope to see. I'll be headed up to New Jersey next week, and I hope all of our pros and friends up in New Jersey will be joining us on the 4th for our birthday bash. And if you haven't RSVP'd for that yet, please do so. We'll include a copy of the invitation also in the email. Hopefully you've been called by one of my people. You received the invitation or the email, and if you haven't, please reach out to me, and I'll make sure that you get on the list, and we'll have a great time there next week, next Thursday. I also wanted to thank Debbie Richardson personally for volunteering for this great makeover. I also want to thank Debbie, who's participating in our Throne Down here in Boca Raton, which is our bathroom makeover. She starts her work next week, so if you're going to be in South Florida, I think she's going to be finished in the middle of October. She's going to be showcasing. She's doing the female restroom. Brenda Tucci, another friend and designer, has done the men's room. She's about halfway through. So it's a great competition here, which also will be sending out details on our Facebook, our pro Facebook, and it's a real fun activity we're involved with down here. So I want to thank you all for joining us. It was thank you, Georgie. Thank you, Michelle. Terrific presentation. I certainly learned a lot, and I hope our listeners did as well. We will be talking to you soon. We have a couple of new webinars coming up in October, so I hope all of you be joining us for those as well. Thanks, Georgie. Thanks, Michelle.
Great. Have a great day, everybody.
Awesome.